As Hikaru tries to figure out the deal with Aki, two Kagami group members attack him in order to try and take Alma, aka the trigger arm, away from him. Join us as we dive into the second episode of Mechanical Arms. While Hikaru laments his fate that led him to be seated with Aki, we see two new members of the Kagami group, Tus and Wanner, watching Hikaru from afar, talking about getting the trigger arm back from Hikaru, using any means necessary. Hikaru retreats to the washroom to try and wrap his head around the Aki situation. Considering how Aki didn't make mincemeat of them in class, Alma suggests that perhaps they should try talking to Aki, since they didn't get such an opportunity yesterday. As Hikaru contemplates about going to the police or talking to them, Alma gets lost in the wonders of toilet paper rolling and has the place filled to his neck by the time Hikaru notices. Aki then pops over from the stall on the right, as if she had been there this whole time, and casually hops over into Hikaru and Alma's toilet paper-filled stall. As she starts pressuring Hikaru to cooperate with them, Hikaru slips away from the crazed mechanized host. Hikaru, managing to get away from Aki, finds himself being teased about a potential romance between himself and Aki by his friends on the rooftop. As Hikaru tries to deny it, Aki bursts onto the rooftop, looking for him. But Hikaru hides before the deranged Mechanical Arms host spots him. Shirayama appears out of nowhere and surprises Aki. Hikaru thinks she's done for when the bubbly Shirayama offers an assortment of cookies to the bloodthirsty Aki, but is surprised when she starts eating them like a normal person instead of pulverizing them to bits. After a little nap on the rooftop, Hikaru thinks about heading home and dealing with Aki the next day when Shirayama stops him to hand him something. Thinking his popular days are finally here, Hikaru's dreams of an exciting middle school life are quickly dashed to the ground when she hands him a note written by Aki, with handwriting like that of a death note. Having absolutely no clue about what's going on, Shirayama pulls Hikaru to the old abandoned school building and locks him in there with Aki. As Hikaru screeches at Aki about what her deal is, Aki explains she's a member of ARMS and had been tasked with bodyguarding Alma. Aki tells them she needed to take them both back to HQ since Hikaru had derailed to Alma. Hikaru is doubtful at first, but for the sake of helping Alma figure out his identity, he agrees to cooperate. But before going, Hikaru asks Aki about the distance powering off issue with Alma. Noticing Alma had fused to Hikaru's hoodie, Aki starts questioning everything she knew about Mechanical Arms and decides they have to take them to HQ for immediate examination. Hikaru asks Alma if he could grow massive like yesterday, and Alma decides to give it a shot. It looks like the tables are about to be turned as Alma starts to transform again, but like finding both of your socks together when you need them, it just doesn't happen. Hikaru takes Alma and makes a run for it instead, respecting the "no running in the hallway" poster.
Stop it. Get some help.
Aki decides to jet rocket across instead. Meanwhile, the duo from the Kagami group have arrived outside, waiting for the wannabe Cupid Shirayama to go away so they could move in for the attack. Hikaru manages to give Aki the slip, but struggles to find an exit. While Aki's mecha arms argue over if she should go left or right, Aki decides to go straight down and lands right on top of Hikaru. Strangling him, she asks why he didn't just finish her off, if he didn't plan to cooperate with her. Hikaru wonders just what kind of life Aki had been leading up to this point, if this is her line of thinking. Aki suspects Hikaru has ulterior motives for Alma and challenges the two to show their bond if not.
Ah, shit! Here you go again!
Alma accepts her challenge head-on and starts transforming again, but fails. Aki decides Hikaru had nothing to do with Alma and should be eliminated when their quote-unquote Cupid Shirayama storms in to check up on them after hearing loud noises from inside. Catching the two in a rather suggestive moment, the rom-com-obsessed Shirayama leaves in embarrassment. Seeing a chance, Wanner enters the abandoned building. Hikaru notices a Kagami group symbol on his collar. Wanner then asks for Hikaru's help before the people from ARMS got there. As Hikaru complains about almost getting killed by their drones yesterday, Wanner apologizes that they made a mistake yesterday, which was letting him live, and suddenly takes out his mecha arm and shoots a sound beam at Hikaru. Alma remains unaffected by it, but it stuns Hikaru, distorting his vision and balance. Wanner then opens the door to let the already in position Tus take a clean shot at Hikaru, but she misses. Hikaru then starts running away while being shot at by Tus when Alma notices something off with Wanner's mechanical arm, sensing no will whatsoever from it. Wanner hits Hikaru with the sound cannon once again and drops him. It looks like the end for Hikaru as Tus takes her shot, but Aki gets there just in time and blocks it. Aki notices that the mechanical arms of both Kagami group members were shackled. Upon Alma's asking, one of Aki's mechanical arms tells him their wills had been taken away by a device called a shackle, making them slaves. Wanner, however, believes this is what mechanical arms were supposed to be, mere tools. He shoots his sound cannon at them both, immobilizing them temporarily. Seeing the situation getting dire, Aki tells Hikaru to run away with Alma and hide somewhere. Hikaru hesitates, but ultimately gets convinced and runs away. Warner, after getting an earful from Toos for wasting time, decides to end this and throws glowing purple circular objects at her. Meanwhile, Alma asks Hikaru if they did the right thing by just leaving Aki and her mecha arms there. Alma can't stand it and makes a hole in the wall for Hikaru to escape from while heading back himself. Hikaru doesn't accompany him at first, but after hearing Alma slowing power off as he moves out of range from him, Hikaru decides to go back too and joins Alma again. On the other hand, Warner has Aki completely restrained alongside her mecha arms and is dragging her out to the rooftop to Toos, who paraglided there using her mecha arm. As Toos orders Warner to go look for the trigger arm, Hikaru shows up on the roof as well. Warner blasts Hikaru with his sound cannon again, but Hikaru is unfazed for some reason this time. It's because of his noise-canceling earphones from earlier. They work against Warner's sound waves too. Hikaru and Alma had planned this to divert the attention of their foes, while Aki would finish them off. But so much for that plan, eh? Thinking on his feet, Hikaru wraps Alma in his hoodie and throws him to Aki so he could untie her. But the distance is too big, and Alma doesn't have enough strength to carry out the task at hand. Hikaru then leaps towards Alma in an effort to get his strength back up while getting shot at by Toos. One of her shots rips the bands tying up Aki, setting her free, who immediately grabs Toos and starts charging towards Warner, carrying her like a shield. Warner, with a heavy heart, shoots at them on Toos' orders, but only takes out Toos, as Aki had her ears covered with a sound-blocking headset. Aki then sends Warner flying with a solid punch, but the building starts collapsing from all the fighting. Toos retreats, leaving Warner behind. The building collapses, and as Aki looks at an unconscious Hikaru and Alma, the mask-wearing guy from earlier shows up. Meanwhile, back at the Kagami building, the extremely dangerous artificial mecha arm gets stolen by an unknown figure. As Hikaru regains consciousness, he is welcomed by Algis, leader of ARMS, an organization that had been created to stop the Kagami group from enslaving mechanical arms. Algis's mechanical arm, Hit, tells Alma he is his older brother and asks for his help in this battle for humanity and mecha arms. Hikaru, however, is told he had no role of any sort to play in the matter. Stay connected, like and subscribe for more fun recaps on one and only Endless Recaps.